So once again, I've got another new house to introduce to you on the channel today. We're talking about a house called Voyages Imaginaires, this one right here. So this is the presentation, and I'm going to talk to you about 3 fragrances from this house. We have L'Eau d'Immortelle, this one right here. We have Tea and Rock and Roll, this one right here. And then finally, the 3rd fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Le Grand Jeu. That one right here. So I also have 3 additional samples that I'm going to talk to you about after the outro. This is a brand new house. It's also all natural perfumery. I know some of you complain about synthetic notes or synthetic smelling fragrances. This is an all natural fragrance house from France. The fragrances are created by Isabelle Doyen and also Camille Goutal. If you're a fan of Annick Goutals fragrances, you probably have heard of their names. This is their new house. It's been around for a couple of years, and it's going to be previewed today here on my channel. And there are 3 sample sets of all of the fragrances from Voyages Imaginaires, sponsored by Ministry of Scent here in San Francisco. So they're giving away 3 sample sets to 3 subscribers of this channel from the USA. If you're curious to learn about this house, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, I'm excited about this house, to tell you about this house today. I did not realize this house existed until a couple of months ago. I know who Isabelle Doyen is. I know who Camille Goutal is. If you've been following me since my previous channel, remember I started doing videos 10 years ago. 10 years ago, or even 11 years ago now, I used to speak a lot about Annick Goutals. It was one of my very first discoveries of niche perfumery. It was either Annick Goutals or Penhaligon's. Those are the niche houses that I learned about outside of designers, and at the time it wasn't niche perfumery. So I'm very excited to tell you about this house and go over these 3 fragrances. I believe they only have 6 fragrances because I have the 3 bottles of the 3 fragrances, and I also have 3 samples that I'm going to talk to you about. And these are currently sold at Ministry of Scent here locally in San Francisco. They are carrying the line. And they're all natural fragrances, and they come in eau de parfum concentrations. And these are 75 ml bottles, and they retail for $195. So if you guys are in the market to buy any of these fragrances, remember I have a curated sample set that you get for free if you buy anything, or any bottles from Ministry of Scent is what I should say. But let me go ahead and show you a little bit about the presentation. That's the box it comes in, like that, on the back here. And also in front here, you can see there's a photograph inside the cover. And this photograph or artwork is inside all the bottles. Here we've got that, and then we've got this here as well. These are refillable bottles, and refills are sold, but Ministry of Scent doesn't have those yet. I should show you how these are refillable. And also, I should say, I really love the caps for these bottles, and they fit so beautifully here on these actual bottles themselves, and the caps look very antique-y. I really like that about it. I really love history and antique-y things meshed with modern-looking things. So this, to me, is kind of classic and antique-y with a modern look, which I really like, and it really appeals to me because the font here they're using is very kind of modern-esque, but also kind of minimalistic, and so everything presentation-wise looks amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and start off telling you about L'Eau d'Immortelle, this one right here. So as soon as you see the name Immortelle, you're going to know that there is a note called Immortelle featured here. But this is not just about Immortelle. It smells super fantastic, guys. This is my favorite from this house. Hands down, amazing. And wears beautifully, very gorgeously. And it's Immortelle. It's this very interesting, dry, grassy, floral note that reminds me of autumn. So this fragrance does have a very autumn-like presence. And there's a lot that's done with Immortelle fragrances. Sometimes it goes into gourmand, which this one does lightly, and also very ambery here. So this features notes of Immortelle, Labdanum, Amyris, Benzoin, amber, bergamot, vanilla, tonka beans, and chocolate. So when you first spray this fragrance, it's all about Immortelle, right? It's there, it's dry, but this Immortelle note has these kind of brown, sugary, caramelly nuances that you're going to pick up. It does sometimes go into the gourmand direction, as I was saying. Here it does, but it's with the help of a few other notes. And then also dark chocolate. This dark chocolate doesn't fully appear, but in the background, it's trying to come out. It's kind of saying, hey, don't forget about me. I'm really one of the best notes here in this fragrance. But it's that kind of fragrance where you think you're going to get a lot of chocolate, but it's kind of in the background. It, like I said, it's trying to come out against all the ambery notes. So we've got Labdanum, Amyris, Amber, Benzoin. This is all very resinous, ambery notes against the Immortelle, which has this kind of like grassy, grassy but dry kind of an effect in the fragrance, which throws in its kind of brown sugary and caramelly touches. And then you've got that tonka bean and chocolate way under there a little bit. So the tonka bean also contributes to a little bit of a tobacco-ish touch, which is kind of really awesome here because I enjoy tobacco in fragrances. Amber fragrances are some of my favorite fragrances. Gourmand fragrances are some of my favorite fragrances. So this is a magical fragrance for me. Again, it's all natural perfumery, but it smells really, really fantastically gorgeous. Now, I should say, if you're a fan of Annick Goutals fragrances, as I was saying earlier, you probably have heard of Isabelle, Doyen, and Camille Goutal. So Annick Goutals has a fragrance out there in the world called Sables. It was targeted to men, also focusing on Immortelle. So this does hint to me a little bit of that fragrance, but a lot fuller, a lot beefier, much more amberier, and of course the dark chocolate comes in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this and then smell it on camera with you, and I can tell you a little bit more details. But there's something about this fragrance. Not only does it remind me of Sables from Annick Goutals, but it puts me into scent memory. Like, I'm getting a scent memory from this. I'm not sure what it is, but it's kind of a happy, joyous time when I smell it, because something in the background of my mind is thinking, oh my God, what am I smelling here? It reminds me of something. It brings back a memory of a day, something that I did with this kind of a smell. But really wonderful, really dense, heavy, ambery, warm, spicy, again, grassy and dry, but also chocolatey, ambery deliciousness. Way under there, there's something clean and soapy as well, which is under there with the chocolate, the dark chocolate, but delicious. Really, really delicious. This to me smells like autumn chocolate, autumn amber, really kind of like afternoon warm glow, sunshine against all this kind of like grassiness, and some warmth is kind of coming through. And of course, Immortelle does remind me of grass, dried grass against the heat and the earth. And so this kind of, just imagine that smell, this beautiful aromatic smell here in Northern California hills. All the growth has dried up and things like that, and then throw in some chocolate in there, smell that all along with it, the warm sun and that growth dried against the chocolate. Really super amazing fragrance. Again, it does remind me of Sables, and I don't know if Sables was created by Isabelle Doyen, because I see that Annick Goutals' name has appeared in the databases for that fragrance, but most likely if Isabelle Doyen was working with Annick Goutals, that fragrance was probably created along with her. But either way, this is my favorite creation from this house. It is really great. I hope you guys get your nose on it and smell it, because if you're a fan of gourmands, ambers, Immortelle fragrances, you got to smell that one. Something really, really magically beautiful smelling about that one that I can't get enough of. And those are the kind of fragrances that I like to, hype on the channel, because they have addicting smells. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Tea and Rock and Roll. Again, these are all fragrances at 75 ml Eau de Parfum concentration, $195. They are available at Ministry of Scent here in San Francisco. They have an online website. If you are in the market for any of these fragrances, keep in mind, if you buy a bottle, you can add the code for my curated sample set and get free samples along with a purchase as well. But also keep in mind, at the end of the video, I'm going to talk to you about a giveaway where we're giving away 3 sample sets, entire sample sets of Voyages Imaginaires fragrances. These are created by Ministry of Scent, so they're hand decanted samples. So Tea and Rock and Roll. You know what? I forgot to mention one more thing. This is one more thing I needed to mention. The back of each bottle has imagery that I'm hoping I can cut the images here as well. So this L'Eau d'Immortelle has this image, and let me go ahead and show you the image for Tea and Rock and Roll right there. But Tea and Rock and Roll is a tea fragrance, obviously, and it's kind of inspired by dandies and musicians and guitar playing and things like that. So it's British. Obviously, Brits drink a lot of tea. I love tea myself, but I'm a coffee addict. But I do enjoy my tea fragrances, and I like that very fresh, clean tea smelling fragrance. Again, this is all natural perfumery, so they're not using any synthetics in these fragrances. They're all natural, plus they're using organic alcohol for these fragrances. But Tea and Rock and Roll features notes of bergamot tea, smoky maté, and tonka beans. So what does this fragrance smell like? To me, it's very clean, fresh, and also citrusy for sure, because it does say bergamot tea, and I've had plenty of Earl Grey tea with bergamot, so is this Earl Grey tea? I don't know, something like that, but perhaps the bergamot is separate, and they add them together to create this bergamot tea effect in here, but whatever it is, it's very, very citrusy. It's also very, very green, because that smoky mate does add that greenness, but to me, mate in general is also kind of grassy. There's definitely a grassiness about this fragrance. You can experience the texture of this note along with that kind of coziness of the tea. So it's spicy, it's earthy, there's aromatic touches here, and for me, once again, I get a little soapiness under there. I don't know where I'm getting that for this fragrance and also for the last fragrance, whereas the last fragrance, it could be something like earthy patchouli like soap, but with the Tea and Rock and Roll, it's more like a clean soap slash also citronella. I'm getting a bit of a citronella-like effect here. So let me go ahead and spray this on camera and smell it for you as well and give you a little bit more information about this. Always love the combination of bergamot and tea. There's something, as soon as you smell it, coziness, relaxing, soothing, calming comes to mind. Instantly, I get that. But it does have that smokiness for sure. It's there, lightly running throughout the fragrance along with that kind of grassy green mate note. For sure. But I am getting the soapiness. It's almost like a tea hand soap. More like a luxurious tea hand soap that you are, buying from a high-end store where they have some beautiful perfumed product soaps, and that's what it smells like to me. And also a little bit of the citronella I get as well. There's definitely an oiliness under there that's trying to come out along with all the green and herbal and fresh and citrusy notes. This is definitely my second favorite from the collection here. I'm not too familiar with the other samples that I'm going to sample because I haven't really sampled them. But I know for a fact the L'Eau Immortelle definitely is my favorite, I think, from what I've smelled so far. But we'll see from the samples if I like the others a little more. But from the reading the notes and everything, I know for sure the one that stands out for me notes-wise is definitely L'Eau Immortelle, because I really, really love that one. But the next and final fragrance, the third fragrance, is Le Grand Jus, this one right here. I hope I'm not butchering my French. The back of this one is kind of like a beach setting. And of course, that's what you're going to get with this one. But this one to me is definitely a very white floral beachiness. I instantly get that. I get coconutty qualities with this one, and also very white floral. And to me, there's not really, well, let me tell you the notes. We've got gardenia, tuberose, coconut, milk, and vanilla. For me, there's not really any mention of tropical flowers, although gardenias definitely would probably grow in tropical places, but for me, I get something like ylang ylang in here mixed in, because it definitely gives me a very tropical vibe. Maybe it's coming from the addition of the coconuts in here, the coconut milk, but seriously though, there's definitely something very, very beachy, coconutty happening against all the white flowers that are in here. So gardenias in general, to me, has a creaminess about it, and it adds a creamy layer to fragrances, but then they've also added coconut milk, and the two together creates it for a very creamy, milky, lactonic, beachy vibe here. If you like the idea of beachy fragrances, check this one out. It's not one of my all-time favorites from this house. My number one favorite is the first fragrance I told you about. Tea and Rock and Roll is also really, really great. This one, to me, it wasn't working as well, but still, I think this one definitely has fans. I wanted a little more gardenia smell, because I really love gardenias. It was my parents' favorite flowers. Really love the way they smell. For me, the gardenia didn't come out too much. And even though I said there's a creamy factor about this one, before that I said I feel like there's definitely some other flower in here, like a tropical flower, maybe like a ylang ylang, or maybe even frangipani, because I get a major tropical floral vibe in here, and it's kind of like toning down the gardenia qualities for me. But let's go ahead and smell it on camera as well, so that you find out about it a little more. Very powdery as well, which I forgot to mention. But you know what? In the back of my mind, in the back of the fragrance, I should say, not the back of my mind, I also remember that this one had a little bit of funk. So some light animalic qualities, and perhaps it's kind of coming from some, indolic qualities of the white flowers. I mean, it's nice. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's very white floral, but also tropical, and very creamy, lactonic, milky, and powdery, with that very, very light funk way in the back, which might come up for some people who are very sensitive. For me, it's not in your face, so it's kind of hidden in the back. So that is Le Grand Jeu. That is the third and final fragrance I'm talking about today from a bottle. And let me know your thoughts on these fragrances from Voyages Imaginaires. Are you familiar with this house? Let me show you their logo again. Brand new house created by Isabelle Doyen and Camille Goutal. Camille Goutal is the daughter of Annick Goutals. Annick Goutals had passed away quite a while ago. I think she died of cancer. But as I said, I've been a fan of Annick Goutals for years and years. My dad wore bottle of something lavender, and I forgot the name, and I actually wore it as well in the late 90s, and I still have my empty bottle because that fragrance got discontinued for a long time. But now I'm glad that this brand is out, and it's a brand that is started by perfumers, well, I don't know, maybe they're still perfuming at Annick Goutals. I'm not 100% sure, but they got their own indie house now that's definitely worth checking out, because I like introducing new houses to you guys, and I feel like you guys enjoy this as well. So I hope you guys get to go check these fragrances out. Now for the giveaway, we are giving away 3 sample sets. These are hand-created samples by Ministry of Scent, who is now selling this brand. I have links in the info box. You can go find out more about the brand. But if you want to participate in the samples giveaway, it's 6 total samples. All the fragrances I discussed today, and then all the ones I'm going to talk about here after the outro. Put a comment down and let me know what you liked about this video, and let me know which fragrance sounds the best to you and why you like that fragrance. Also, please put down your state, because this is a USA giveaway only, and Ministry of Scent is only a USA company, so they don't ship outside of the USA. Good luck with the giveaway, guys, and let me know if you have any questions or comments about this house or anything else. Put a comment down below so I can find out. But please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and also TikTok now. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well so you can qualify for the giveaway. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye. Alright, I've got 3 fragrances that are out of the samples that I'm going to talk to you about. 2 handmade samples here and 1 official sample from Voyages Imaginaires. Let's go ahead and try. 2 of them are spray, 1 of them is a dabber, so we'll see how I'm going to be able to do the dabber. But let's try AZAHAR first. This says AZAHAR here. Right there. So AZAHAR seems like it's Morocco or Tunisian inspired. I think it's Moroccan inspired. So it's orange blossom with petitgrain, tangerine, and vanilla marshmallow. Is it going to smell like Love Don't Be Shy? So not really. No. So this one to me is all very orange blossom, petitgrain, and tangerine. And it's a minor amount of something vanillic, marshmallowy. I feel like this is the anti-Love Don't Be Shy. Even though there's might be like a light hint of it, it's more focusing on the citruses part rather than the gourmand part to me. But in the end, I can smell the oils here. And I think with Tea and Rock and Roll, it's the oils that I was smelling, because this is all natural perfumery and I'm getting the actual concentrated oils that I'm smelling. Just like here with the citruses, I smell something similar in the AZAHAR that I smelled in Tea and Rock and Roll. But this is actually nice. This is definitely not Love Don't Be Shy. And I thought about that. I said, oh my god, orange blossom, petitgrain, tangerine, and vanilla marshmallow. Is it going to smell like Love Don't Be Shy? Now, I haven't worn it, so it might change on skin, but off the strip, it's not necessarily like Love Don't Be Shy. It's more like a neroli orange blossom fragrance with some warmth under there with the vanilla marshmallow. So that's the first fragrance. Next, we're going to do L'Échappée Sauvage. This one right here. So L'Échappée Sauvage is fig, cedar, pink pepper, bergamot, gaiac wood, lemon, tonka beans. So is it a fig fruit or is it fig leaves or tree? Let's see. Instantly, it's the tree. Yeah, it's the tree to me. Definitely not the fruit. It's more the fig leaves than the tree. Very green bitter here. Very green and bitter. Kind of in that real authentic fig tree smelling. I don't know if you guys ever hung out around fig trees. I have plenty as a child. And I love picking figs off of fig trees because, you know, they don't sell figs plentiful here. This to me smells like you're running around it and picking the leaves. Just be careful though. They do have that fig milk that oozes off the leaves, so it can get sticky. But to me, this smells very, very authentic. Very, very authentic to fig leaves. So it's fig, cedar, pink pepper, bergamot, gaiac wood, lemons, and tonka beans. Wow, I can't believe how authentic this smells. This does remind me a little bit of Philosophus, but Philosophus has that coconut milk. This doesn't have it. So to me, this smells really, really authentic fig. Like, this is like warm, hot day under a fig tree with a little bench or with a little table, picnic table, and you're eating and you can smell the sun baking the tree and the leaves, and that smell is just right here on the strip here. Wow, that is very, very authentic smelling for a fig fragrance. And then last but not least, it's La Couleur de la Nuit. I think that's how you say it. And this one is a dabber. So I'm going to have to see how I can dab this. This features notes of lavender, fir balsam, patchouli, geranium, rose, and vanilla. Wow, I guess this is my least favorite of all of them. Not sure why. It smells like, I mention this all the time, when you get all this greenery, woods, leaves, and, you know, herbs and whatever, you're chopping it up. It's just a mashup of all of these ingredients. It smells very green, very herbal, very aromatic, very earthy. Rose and vanilla hardly. More of the geranium, although geranium and rose kind of complement one another. But wow. This smells like a fougere, but a different take of fougere. Because lavender, geranium, patchouli. It's actually developing kind of nicely, but initial, wow, very bitter green. And just totally imagine like you're chopping up all the greens that you've picked from your garden or some forest or something, and that smell. But it's developing quite nicely. It's warming up and settling, but the initial blast is pretty intense with the greenery. So that's La Couleur de la Nuit. And the back of that bottle is more gorgeous, I think. I wish I had that one because it's beautiful. But either way, those are my thoughts on the 3 additional fragrances from Voyages Imaginaires. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.